Welcome to 12.5 surface areas and volumes of spheres. So we're working with spheres today, and area, if you remember, is always squared and volume is always cubed. So look at the area formula. You have the area of a circle, which is pi r squared. If you multiply it by 4, that actually covers the whole sphere. So area of a sphere is pi r squared times 4. The volume is cubed. So instead of saying pi r cubed, you say, or squared, you say pi r cubed. And you're going to divide it by 3. So those numbers have to be the same. And again, you're still multiplying by 4. So it's very similar to area, 4 pi r. Instead of squared, you say 3 and then divide it by 3. So that's the difference between area and volume in a sphere. Alright, so let's do a few problems. So find the surface area of the sphere. So again, the surface area of a sphere is 4 times pi times r squared. So pi r squared. So take pi on your calculator times 4 squared, which is 16, times 4. And you get the surface area to be 201.06 square feet. Okay, now number 2. Again, the surface area is pi r squared times 4. Okay, so 4 times pi times 7.5 squared. Alright, so 7.5 squared times pi times 4. So you have to do your exponents first, and that gives us 706.86 square centimeters. So those are your two answers to start off. Let's go on. So now on number 3, they give us the diameter. So we have to find the radius. So 18.3 divided by 2 is going to be 9.15. That's your radius. And then we do the same thing again. 4 times pi times 9.15 squared. So do the square part first. So 9.15 squared times pi times 4. You get 1,052.09 square meters. Okay, number 4, they give you the circumference here. Remember, circumference is pi times diameter. So the circumference, C, is 4 pi. So how do we find the diameter? Divide off the pi, and our diameter is 4. So the radius is 2. So surface area again is 4 times pi times the radius squared. So you have 2 squared is 4 times 4 times pi. So 16 times pi gives me 50.27 square feet. So find the indicated measure. Number 5, find the radius of a sphere with a surface area of 4 pi square feet. So again, surface area is 4 times pi times r squared. And we're supposed to find the radius, so we don't know it. It tells us the surface area is 4 pi. So 4 pi goes in the surface area position. 4 times pi times r squared. So to get r by itself, we divide by 4 pi. And that is just 1. It's not 0, it's 1. Anything over itself is 1. And you take the square root. So the square root of 1 is 1. So the radius is 1. Number 6, find the radius of a sphere with a surface area of 1,024 pi. So again, write your formula and then plug everything in. This is your surface area. 1,024 pi equals 4 pi r squared. So again, we're finding radius. So we're going to divide by 4 pi. So really what we're doing is dividing 1,024 by 4. You get 256. And you take the square root of that. You get 16. 7. Find the diameter of a sphere. So remember what you're looking for. And they gave you a surface area again. So surface area again is 4 pi r squared. Surface area is 900 pi. So we divide off the 4 pi again. And 4. You get 225 is equal to r squared. So r is 15. So remember, we're finding the diameter, so the diameter is 30 meters. Okay, find the diameter again of a sphere. So surface area is 4 pi r squared. So we have the surface area is 196 pi equals 4 pi r squared divided by 4 pi. So we get r squared equals 196 divided by 4, gives you 49. Take the square root, and r equals 7, but we want the diameter, so the diameter is 14 centimeters. Find the volume of the sphere. So volume, remember, instead of saying 4 pi r squared, we say 4 pi r cubed, because volume is cubed, and then we divide by 3. So what do we have here? The volume is 4 times pi times the radius 8 cubed, and divide by 3. So we're divide by 3 last. So let's do 8 cubed. So 8 cubed times pi times 4, and then we take that 6,000 number and we divide it by 3, and we get 2,144.66 cubic meters. Number 10, same thing. Volume equals 4 times pi times the radius cubed, and then divide by 3. So again, we do the top first. 4 cubed, always do your exponents first, times pi times 4, and then we divide by 3. So that volume is 268.08 cubic feet. And again, volume equals 4 times pi times the radius. The radius here is 11. The diameter there is 22. 11 cubed, and then divide by 3. Again, do the top first. 11 cubed times pi times 4, and then we divide by 3. You get 5,575.28 cubic yards. Number 12, again, they give us the diameter. So the radius is 7 over 3. So again, do the top and the exponent first. 7 cubed times pi times 4, and then divide by 3. 1,436.76 cubic feet. 13. They gave us circumference, so circumference, remember, is pi times diameter. Circumference C is 20 pi. So we're going to divide off the pi. Diameter equals 20, so our radius is 10. So the volume is 4 times pi times the radius cubed divided by 3. So 10 cubed times pi times 4 divided by 3 gives us 4,188.79 cubic centimeters. 14, again, they give the same thing. So circumference is pi times diameter. So 7 pi is your circumference. Divide off the pi. So the diameter is 7. So the radius is 3.5, half of the diameter. So the volume is 4 times pi times 3.5 cubed, and divide by 3. So 3.5 cubed times pi times 4 divided by 3. That gives you 179.59 cubic inches. Now, what they do wrong. So before you look at what they did, figure out the volume. We want volume here. So volume equals 4 times pi times the radius cubed divided by 3. So we take 6 cubed times pi times 4 divided by 3. That gives us a total of 904.78. Alright, so now let's take a look at what they did.
Use the right lane.
So what they do wrong, they squared their radius instead of cubing it. Alright, so again, don't look at what they did. Just go ahead and solve it. Volume is 4 times pi times radius cubed over 3. So the diameter is 3, so the radius is 1.5. So we got to cube 1.5. first. So 1.5 cubed times pi times 4, and then we divide by 3, and we get 14.14 cubic inches. So what did they do wrong? Let's erase that stuff and see what they did. And they have cube there, but they used 3 instead of 1.5. They used the diameter. So that's what they did wrong. All right, find the surface area and the volume. So now we're doing both types of problems in one. Now this is half a sphere. So the surface area of a sphere is 4 pi r squared. And once we find that, we got to divide it by 2 because it's half of a sphere. Same thing with volume. Volume is 4 times pi times r cubed divided by 3. But then once we get that, divide that by 2 because it's half of a sphere. Okay, so the first one, surface area. The radius is 5. So you square 5, that's 25, times pi times 4. And now we divide that by 2 because it's half of a sphere. And we get 157.08 square centimeters. And that's not the correct answer because you have the surface of the flat part here to add to it. So that flat part is just pi r squared. So we need to add pi times, again, 5 squared is 25. So 25 times pi, and we're going to add that to the 157.08. And we get 235.62 square centimeters. And now we do volume. Okay, volume is 4 times pi times 5 cubed, divide by 3, and then divide that by 2. And there's nothing different about this part. So 5 cubed is 125 times pi times 4, and then we divide that by 3, and then we divide that in half. All right, so that should be 261.80 cubic centimeters. Okay, so number 18, radius is 6. Pay attention. Surface area, again, is going to be the 4 pi r squared. We're going to divide by 2, but then we have to add the pi r squared surface, the flat surface there. All right, so we're going to take the radius 6, we're going to square it. So that's 36 times pi times 4. And then we divide that by 2. All right, so 226.19. And then we add the group of the radius squared, 36 times pi again. Close that group and add it together. You should get 339.29 square inches. And now we do volume, which is going to be just a little bit bigger than number 17 because the radius is just a little bit bigger. So volume is 4 times pi times 6 cubed, divided by 3, and then we divide the whole thing by 2. So 6 cubed times pi times 4 divided by 3, and then divide that by 2. And you get 452.39 cubic inches. All right, number 19, find the volume with the given surface area. All right, so we need the radius so that we can find volume. So we're going to use the surface area formula for pi r squared to find what the radius is, and then we'll calculate the volume. 4 times pi times radius cubed divided by 3. All right, so the surface area is 16 pi. So 16 pi is SA, 4 pi, and again, we don't know the radius yet, so we divide by 4 pi. Radius squared is 4, so the radius is 2. So now that we know what the radius is, we can do the volume. Volume equals 4 times pi times 2 cubed divided by 3. So 2 cubed is 8 times pi times 4, and we divide by 3, and we finally get our answer of 33.51 cubic feet. Number 20, doing the exact same thing again. We have to find the surface area. or the radius from the surface area. So surface area is 484 pi. So the surface area formula is 4 pi r squared. Again, we divide by 4 pi. And the radius squared, again, is 484 divided by 4. It's going to be 121. You take the square root, you get 11. So the volume, again, is 4 times pi times the radius cubed divided by 3. So 11 cubed times pi times 4, and then divide by 3. And that gives us 5,575.28. And that's cubic centimeters. Now approximate the surface area and the volume of the ball. So the bowling ball, the diameter is 8.5 inches, so we divide it by 2, and you get 4.25 for the radius. So we got to do both surface area and volume. Surface area is 4 times pi times the radius, 4.25 squared. So we square that, times pi, times 4. And our surface area is 226.98. And that's square inches. The volume is going to be 4 times pi times 4.25 cubed divided by 3. So we take 4.25, we cube it, times it by pi, times it by 4, and then divide by 3. And you should get 321.56, and that's cubic inches. Okay, number 22. Surface area is 4 times pi. The problem here is they give us circumference. Circumference is pi times diameter, so 29.5 is your C. All right, so we got to get our radius. We need to divide by pi. So 29.5 divided by pi. 29.5 divided by pi is 9.39. That's your diameter, so divide it by 2, and we get 4.69507 is your radius. Now, surface area. Oh, since we have our radius, we don't need to find. Oh, we do need to find surface area and volume. All right, so surface area is 4 pi times the radius squared. So if we take that long number and we square it, and then times it by pi, and then times it by 4, our surface area will be 277.01 square inches. All right, so try to find that radius again, or we just use that long number for the volume. So we get 4 times pi times that radius cubed divided by 3. So take that number, 4.69507. 4.69507. We're going to cube it. Times pi times 4. And then we divide by 3. And you get 433.53 cubic inches. And number 23, doing all the same thing. Got to find the radius before we start. So they give us a circumference, which is 12. So we take and divide off the pi. So 12 divided by pi. And that's 3.8197. So we divide that by 2 to get your radius. The radius is 1.909859. So that's a long enough number to use for your radius. Surface area is 4 times pi times that number squared. So square that long number on your calculator, times it by pi, times it by 4, and there's your surface area of 45.84 square inches. Now use that long radius for our volume, 4 pi r cubed divided by 3. So 1.909859. We're going to cube it, times it by pi, times it by 4, and divide by 3. And our volume is 29.18. That's cubic inches. So surface area is larger than your volume at the moment. All right, 24, golf ball. Diameter is 1.7, so your radius, you divide that by 2, you get 0.85. So surface area again is 4 times pi times 0.85 squared. So square it, times it by pi, times it by 4, and your surface area is 9.08 square inches for a golf ball. And then the volume of a golf ball is 4 times pi times 0.85 cubed divided by 3. So 0.85 cubed. Let's try that again. 0.85 cubed is 0.614125 times pi times 4 divided by 3. And the volume of a golf ball is 2.57 cubic inches. And that's it. We're all done.